Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Talking Cardboard. As always, my name is Cory.
And I'm John.
And we have a special guest here today, Ryan Jewell from Jewell Games, where we're going over his brand new collectible card game called The Condemned. So, let's introduce ourselves a little bit. Ryan, who are you? How did you come up with this idea?
So, hi, I'm Ryan Jewell. I am the creator of the Condemned Collectible Card Game, and I started this game basically like every other COVID project out there.
There you go.
I started off as, I should make a card game, and then I realized what I'd said.
Not realizing all the work that you need to put into it as well, yeah.
It seemed like a good idea at the time. It's the way most of these projects usually work out, isn't it? You know?
Exactly. Yep. You get started, and then it evolves into a completely different beast by the end of it, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. No. So The Condemned is a fast-paced dystopian sci-fi collectible card game. You take on the role of a condemned inmate in a space prison who's duking it out for the entertainment of all the other inmates and guards in the prison system. It's fast-paced. You equip weapons and armor, proceed to beat face. It's a lot of fun. It's a simple system, but it's just the synergies with it. Just everything just kind of snowballs.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and like you said too, it is very fast-paced. That is one thing that makes it unique compared to other collectible card games out there. It's very fast-paced, it's very in-your-face, and it is simple on the surface. The rule set is simple, but it's definitely got some depth to it. And I know we have cracked some packs off-screen a couple weeks ago now, and just seeing the cards that you get out of the booster packs does add a lot more depth and play and variety to the game. And we'll crack a booster in another video, if not this one, for you all to see as well. But yeah, that's what I appreciate about it just at first glance too. Just fast-paced, quick, straight to the point, but has that depth and some tactics with it too.
And speaking of which, the rules, like the first time we played, assuming we were playing everything correctly, were not that difficult. I guess, could you give us a quick rundown of how the game plays?
Yeah, no, like everybody that's tried the game has figured it out by turn 3. Like just to speak to the ease of the game, like it's that easy to learn. One person actually figured it out by turn 2, so that's saying something. But so the way the game works is you'll have a space on the board for weapons in your main hand and your offhand, and then you'll have spots for head, body, and leg armor. Here, we can even show you right here. We'll turn this around so you guys can see it all nice and pretty like. So you'll have a spot for your Condemned. They'll sit here. This is the premium playmat. You got your main hand, your offhand weapons, head, body, leg armor, space for your deck, discard pile, and then remove from game. All those will make a whole lot more sense later. During your turn, you can equip one weapon per turn, or per one weapon card. So it can go in main hand or offhand. It'll tell you where. You can equip any number of armor cards. You can play any number of preparation cards, which function kind of like sorceries and magic.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. They're things you do outside of battle to prepare to give you an edge later on in the middle of the fight. Yep. And events, you can play one event per player per turn, and they function kind of like instants in Magic. Can you tell I played a lot of Magic?
A lot of inspiration for Magic with everything out there. So, yeah.
With events, they're kind of like surprise things that happen in the heat of the moment, in the middle of the battle, that change the overall flow of things. There's some really, really good ones out there. Hidden Pocket, pulling out a weapon by surprise to parry an incoming attack. Yep. Like they're flavorful. They do funky things, and they really give you an opportunity to turn the tide.
Yep.
When you're on the back foot, those events are going to be what's really going to turn things around.
Which I'm a big fan of that because I like games that don't include instants, but I also like the opportunity to sit back and just know in my brain, like, hey, I can't wait till this person does this wrong, and boom!
A trap card.
Yeah. I mean,
it's exactly my trap card.
Yeah! Nothing more exciting when that plays out exactly how you anticipate.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And you mentioned parrying in this game, which is kind of a unique take on card games too. I haven't really seen that mechanism.
So when I was designing the Condemned, one thing that I wanted to have be as like a central focus is I wanted actions to be able to be you should be able to respond to actions that your opponent does. It shouldn't just be, I'm just going to smash you and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yep.
Everything should have a way to keep it in check.
Yep.
And parrying was that result. And so basically what parrying is you're basically taking your weapon, you're holding it up and going, yeah! And the weapon takes the damage instead of the intended target, the armor or you.
Yep. And it completely, soaks it up. I'm trying to think back to our gameplay of it. It's been a couple weeks now, but how exactly does that flesh out when you parry? Is that a complete block of the attack? You're free and clear, and it's kind of your get out of jail for free card. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
But
at the cost of your weapon.
At the cost of your weapon, because the weapon takes the damage instead of the intended target. So if your weapon runs out of durability and breaks, now you have to have a different weapon to attack on your next turn.
Yep.
So there's that balancing act of, do I want to parry it? Do I want to take the damage? It adds an extra layer of strategy and depth to this game, and as more cards are released, that decision is going to be all the more difficult.
I'm a really big theme guy, so for me, like, thinking about this brutal battle between two prisoners, like, weapons are getting broken, body limbs are getting injured, like, thematically, you're losing these items permanently, and this attrition takes care of that, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thematic thing, too, I noticed with this game that I see in other board games, such as, like, Summoner Wars and Mage Wars and things like that, is the fact of, like, there's almost like a tactical board state or, like, an environment to this game, too, where you've got ranged and melee, too.
Yes.
So it's switching between the ranged and melee. If you can kind of go into that a little bit, how important is that?
Yeah, no, so ranged and melee was a pretty foundational mechanic pretty much from the beginning, really. I'm a very top-down designer, and it shows with this game. Like, when you've got two guys in an arena, people in an arena duking it out, somebody steps back, you try to swing with a sword, it's not going to work.
Right. Yep.
So, like, I needed to come up with a way to properly, like, codify that in a way that was easy to understand, and the melee range mechanic was the end result. You'll find cards and booster packs that'll have melee on one side, ranged on the other. It's a nice little easy token to keep track of. You could also use a coin.
Yep.
The game is designed to be very free form and easy to just grab a deck and some counters and away you go.
It's not over complex or complicated for complexity's sake.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And the whole mechanic of switching from melee to range is pretty simple.
Yes.
If you want to get into that.
Yeah, so there are cards that will say, move to range or move to melee as a part of a card effect.
I love those cards because that's where you're not wasting your turn.
Yeah.
You're preparing or responding.
You're a half turn ahead.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But any player during their main phase can discard a card from their hand to move from melee to ranged or vice versa. Now, if you do that, you cannot attack. So there is, and I actually want to encourage a gameplay style where somebody's playing keep away and forcing their opponent to try to move forward, like forcing your opponent to burn cards, like that waste, like encouraging that waste, just to be able to do anything. It's not fun to play against, but it has to. But obviously, you have to have other ways to. There's going to be weak downfalls to that.
Yep.
But at the same time, there are other cards that you can use to get around that, like aggressive charge. It lets you move from range to melee and still attack during the same turn.
That's huge.
And then that one also cantrips, which is huge too.
Yep.
Well, as you can see, there's a lot going on in the Condemned, but like we said in the intro to the video, this is a very easy game to understand, and within the first turn or two, you're going to understand exactly what you're able to do, but the little nuances and the little things you can do, there are definitely some unique aspects to this game and some unique design decisions as well. Was there anything else you wanted to comment on?
Yeah, if people want to try out the game, it is available on Tabletop Simulator. Search for the Condemned CCG in Tabletop Simulator. You can also go to www.condemnedccg.com and you can view the game. You can purchase starter sets, booster packs, booster boxes, play mats, all the cool stuff. We'll show that off in another video, I'm sure. But you can pick up your own copies. If you want to try out the game, please do.
Yeah.
Free to try it out, and if you really want to dive in and support an indie game developer who's doing this all by himself, for better or worse, pick up a starter set and a couple booster packs.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. And as always, if you like the content we provide here on the channel, like the video, comment down below if you have any questions. We'll answer those as well, and feel free to subscribe. We really appreciate that.
Give those thumbs up.
Yeah. Until next time, you all have fun gaming.